area's foreclosure rate is lower than the national average, yet thousands still struggle with their monthly mortgage payments. And today, two groups are coming together to offer assistance to those in need and provide alternatives to foreclosure. Eric Selk, he's the executive director of HopeNow.com and joins us now with more on this event. Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the event in a minute. I want to put the phone number out, though, because we really want to put the lines open because people have a lot of questions about this. The phone number is 703-387-1020. Again, 703-387-1020. Call in. We want to talk about this issue. So, Eric, tell us a little bit about what you do and, again, what's going on with the big event today.
Sure. Today is an event to really offer as many solutions as possible to any family that's struggling on their mortgage. You've got the Making Home Affordable program. You have the major lenders like Chase and Citi and Bank of America and Wells Fargo, as well as you have some really terrific nonprofit partners like NeighborWorks Americans and Home Free USA coming together to really be able to offer as many solutions as they can for homeowners.
Let's take a look at some of the details of the big board, we might call it for a moment, about what's happening today at FedExField. Eric, tell us about some of the details and obviously how can people get involved today?
Well, you do not have to pre-register. It is from 1 until 8 o'clock.
Plenty of time.
Yep, plenty of time to show up. The parking is free and all the amenities are free, and it's up on the club level of the stadium, and free parking is in Lot A.
Okay.
And so please find time today. We'd love to be able to help you out.
Let's talk about this event. This is bringing together a lot of different agencies, and this is the Making Home Affordable program. This is a federal program.
Correct.
That is bringing together not only financial institutions, we're talking about the big ones like Bank of America, Chase, Citi Mortgage, HSBC, and so on, and also counseling groups that help people deal with.
Right.
So when you put together an event like this, which I know happen across the country, how does this help get to the bottom of the problem? And it really allows people to just ask anything, right?
Well, it does. And what we see is about half the families that will come will also want to see a nonprofit partner or possibly a representative maybe from legal aid or something like that. So there's usually a variety of challenges. And so the idea is to be able to address those challenges in an environment where a family can come and stay as long as they want to and ask as many questions as possible.
Okay, what are some of those challenges? I want to ask you one more question after that, then we're going to open up to the phones. We want to hear what you have to say, questions you might have. But tell me a little bit about what are some of the big challenges? One
of the biggest ones I would say is employment. As we know, it's not a big secret that companies lay off or cut back hours. So possibly your mortgage was fine and you haven't been laid off, but your wife has been laid off. And so there's just less money coming in the house. And so because of that, you actually would qualify for some various solutions on your mortgage. And so what we see are people who are coming in who have those kind of issues. It's not typical for them to be delinquent or anything like that, but they've just run into some roadblocks and they just need some help.
We're talking with Eric Selk here, talking about the big event happening at FedExField today to help people dealing with foreclosures. One question I want to ask you, and you and I were talking about this a little bit off air, is there a disconnect between the services available to people that can provide help and the people that actually access those services, and if so, why?
That's a great question. What we see across the country is we promote the event by letters going out from the lenders. So if you've got a flyer in the mail saying, please come see us, take advantage of that. Somebody's inviting you to be there for a reason, and we would love to see you. And thousands of letters will go out, but we'll typically see maybe about 1,000, 600, 700 families that show up. So I think the natural reaction is when you're scared and you don't know what the solutions are to just sort of bunker down. And today is really about finding solutions, giving you an atmosphere where you can talk to a lot of people and really get to some help.
And this is wide open for anybody. Help is there.
Absolutely. And the thing is, too, is let me say guidelines change. Program guidelines change. So if you talk to somebody, let's just say 6 months ago or a year ago, please feel free to ask questions again because things do change and you might qualify.
That's a great point. We are going to go to the phones now. I want to hear any questions that are out there in regards to dealing with the foreclosure crisis, questions about today's event, anything that might be on your mind. Any calls out there? All right? We're going to keep talking. Apparently no calls
problem.
at the moment.
No problem.
What are some of the biggest problems? I mean, we touched on this earlier. I think that employment is obviously a huge issue.
Employment's
is it
a big
the paperwork?
one.
I mean, what are some of the really big questions?
It is. There's a lot of paperwork involved. I just went through a refinance on my own property, and it's time-consuming, and it's a process, and sometimes you have to resubmit paperwork, and it can be frustrating. And I think that people have a lot of questions about that. I think that people don't understand why they're being asked to do certain things, submit certain kinds of paperwork. And I think it helps. I think it helps to sit down and talk to somebody. And then we also will have representatives from Fannie and Freddie available, and they'll be able to answer questions. So possibly if Fannie and Freddie is the investor on your loan, you could sort of hear it directly from the horse's mouth. A sort of a verification.
Do you think that makes a difference, perhaps, because maybe these financial institutions might come off as maybe a bit scary?
Absolutely.
Big banks. We hear all the time about big banks. But when you possibly meet a representative that wants to help, deal with the problems, can that help a little bit in terms of the psychological process?
I do. I think that, and I think clarity. I think that everyone sort of takes the information in at their own speed, and by talking to different people and understanding it from different points, you sort of get a holistic picture of what exactly it is you need to do, why it is you need to do it, and what those next steps are.
What is your sense, and I think I was reading here a moment ago that 66,000 people are impacted in the region by the issue of foreclosure. Where does the Washington, D.C. metropolitan region sort of rank compared with other big cities across the country? How are we doing?
D.C. is doing pretty good. I mean, to be fair, but it's outside the district, and that's why we're in Maryland. We want to be in a more of an area that has a lot more need. But the district itself is pretty good. I would say there's some other American cities, obviously like Detroit and stuff, that come to mind, where it's really a tough situation there, and you're dealing with massive unemployment. So there's a lot to work on. We're
going to go to the phones now. Dino from Falls Church in bankruptcy. He wants to know, can he apply for modification? Dino, would you like to ask that question?
Yes, I'm currently in Chapter 13, and I have my house for sale, and I was trying to apply for a modification multiple times, but due to a hardship, I've lost a family member, and my income is very low, and my renter I have on a short-term 30-day lease every 30 days because my home is on the market. And in the meantime, I have run out of funds, and I'm trying to talk to my mortgage company and to the trustees to prevent them to foreclose on me so I can sell my property.
I got to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir, but we want to get a quick answer to your question. We only have about 10 seconds. Can you even answer that, or is this go to the event today?
Yeah, Dino, I mean, I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing that you'd like to do a modification, but you'd also like to sell your home. So I think there's two different things going on there. I think I would talk to someone from Home for USA today. I think they could certainly walk you through what your options are. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Eric. Big events at FedExField today. Thanks for joining us. This is News Talk.